Olito chamoengapa and tuck himak pisama shapisa la shike. Yoma tukatuklu hayank anleha itino cash michiana anatuk anufila shapisa ku pepele luha kael ahula puli pulash apichlishika and tuk and nushita tumak hash isatuk ashia ea tuk iksa yatu itahabi cha tuituk michasita puta ayantabita oklashata paata tukla pit imp undrip yaita hafuli ukla sha kayanthami Chicago pishno hok kayaki misht mok anupali kayanklo tuk pishnak Sha Haklifa, he ut yemi, ku akistanashi, shitli mut, hashino hahuba, yakni yoma, punali hok, ineli ilap ka hantak. Nan Mishcha. Hashpula Nampulani Luhaka. Mima Minino. Apelanshi Yat Mayatuk. Hantuk Anupalapa. Tisabo Hak Eshi. Anupa Anahali Enupa Kanestina Yak Laihok Kai Atunyana Honuklue.
Thank you both for coming on Nation to Nation.
Thank you.
Now, here are the rules. We're going to begin with a 90-second opening statement from each of you. This will be followed by a round of questions from me, and you'll each get 1 minute to answer and a minute to respond. We'll end with a 45-second closing statement from each of you. So is everyone ready?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Saganash, we're going to begin with you and your opening statement. Why do you support the bill?
Well, thank you, Todd, for the invitation to debate this legislation. First off, I just want to say from the outset very clearly that I do not speak for anyone on this panel. I have no mandate to speak for anyone, perhaps except for my children, to a certain extent even then. So that being said, I think out of the 1,463 pieces of legislation I had to consider during my 8.5 years as a legislator, I read them all, both in English and French. Bill C-15 is
Kayaku Iletani Ka Okla Shata Chicago. Na Halasia Shata.
one of the most innocuous bills. It's very simple, pretty straightforward, and one has to look at only at the purposes of the act under Article 4.4, subsection A, and 4, subsection B. B is about the implementation plan of the UN Declaration, and 4A confirms merely the legal reality of today, in the sense that the UN Declaration has application in Canadian law. And courts and tribunals have used and referenced the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous in the past. They'll continue to do so with or without Bill C-15. So I think that's why I say that the bill is pretty straightforward and pretty simple, in the sense that it merely confirms the legal reality of today.
Mr. Diabo, it's your turn. Your opening statement on why you don't support the bill.
Well, I don't support the bill because, and again, I'm speaking for myself here also. I don't support Bill C-15 because, first of all, it doesn't implement the UN Declaration as many are purporting. Secondly, it was developed in a time of a pandemic after only 6 weeks engagement process. Thirdly, many focus on the flowery preamble. The preamble does have interpretive.
yakohmihchit, holaiho, aishlaha.
But it's not legally binding. And if you look at Section 2 of the bill, it implements basically the common law interpretation in Canada,
Push.
basically Section 35 of the Constitution Act 1982, which is heavily dependent on the doctrine of discovery. And the main purpose really of the bill is Section 6, the development of an action plan to implement the UN Declaration in the future. And we don't see what the action plan is now. That will only be revealed after the bill becomes law. And it'll basically be with what the federal government calls key groups, the national indigenous organizations and modern treaty groups, and others that they add on after that. So, the action plan itself, we don't know what's going to be in it, but we really can't divorce, in my opinion, we can't divorce looking at the action plan and Bill C-15 from what the Liberal government has done for the last 6 years.
Myanmar sa tia sabo ho kiyashiki. Hentuk himak pisama sha pisa la shike yakoki.